How's it going, everyone? So lately, my MCAT study video, the how I wish I studied for the MCAT, has been starting to get a couple more views and stuff, and people have started asking me like, what was my lifestyle, kind of like outside of studying for the MCAT, like what was I doing while studying for the MCAT? So I thought I'd kind of just address it in a quick video. Um, and so I took my MCAT this past year in spring 2019, so May 28th. So I pretty much started studying for it. Um, I would say probably beginning of January, probably January 1st. I was like, all right, new year, start studying for the MCAT, take it, May 28th. And so as far as school goes, I actually took a pretty light school load. I only took 2 courses, and it was because I really wanted to focus on studying for the MCAT. Most of my degree in kinesiology was done prior to that season. All I really needed was biochemistry. And so I took biochemistry 1 and anatomy in the semester while I was studying for the MCAT. And the reason I chose to do such a light course load and those courses specifically was because, I didn't want to stress myself out more than studying for the MCAT already does. And so I didn't see any point in taking a full-time course load and studying full-time for the MCAT. If there are courses you need to take that aren't relevant for the MCAT and you can take them after you take the MCAT, maybe the summer after, because if you take the MCAT in the spring, you're still gonna have all of that summer, all of the next fall, and all of the next spring before you can even matriculate to med school if you get it on your first try. So for me, I was like, there's no point in, stacking on this hard course load, and then I'm not gonna need these courses for the MCAT. So I just took anatomy and biochemistry 1. I was a little bit nervous about taking biochemistry 1 during the semester I was studying for the MCAT. It turned out to be just fine. I was learning things through studying for the MCAT that went along with my class, and then vice versa. And it ended up just working out just fine. I took anatomy because I did have a background in kinesiology, which is pretty anatomy and physiology heavy. And so it was kind of like an easy A class, but also, if you want to be a doctor, you can't really get too much anatomy. So it was kind of just it was a good refresher course, as well as there is anatomy on the MCAT, so anatomy physiology. So it was a pretty relevant course. So those two were pretty relevant courses. I was only in class like 2 days a week for 2.5 hours total. I think both classes just had exams, so I wasn't, I was kind of just studying outside of class, not too many assignments, maybe some homework, but it wasn't too bad. I just want to keep my course load light. Besides that, academically, I was involved in the research I was doing, which if you're interested in hearing anything about that, let me know. I can post a video on it. And so pretty much just focus on research, which if you do research, your own research, so I didn't join someone's lab, I was conducting my own with some peers. That was a lot of stuff on our own time. And then I had my 2 courses that took up a couple hours a week, but it really wasn't so bad. So I still got to study for the MCAT pretty much every single day, even while taking those couple courses, and they were relevant for the MCAT. So, intertwining that was a good idea. And I recommend that. And I don't think you should take a bunch of courses that really aren't necessary for the MCAT. If they can wait till after the MCAT, wait till after the MCAT. Take a part-time load if you can. Besides that, outside of that, I was scribing I was in the emergency room and in psychiatry. And so I probably worked about 2 or 3 shifts a week. I was working minimal shifts. I, was more focused on studying for the MCAT. So I only requested a couple shifts a week. I'd pick up shifts here or there if they were maybe easier shifts that I could maybe study during. But again, my primary focus was studying for the MCAT. So I preferred having more days off where I could kind of just sleep in, study for the MCAT. On a typical day, I would pretty much sleep in if I wanted to, open my eyes, lay in bed. I'd probably like pull my laptop into bed and maybe just start going through things, but I wasn't like rushing myself. And that's why I was glad that I gave myself so much time and such a light, school and work schedule, because it's already a stressful exam. Having to study for the exam is stressful. Anyone who's taken it knows that when you're not studying for this exam, you feel like you should be, and there's like this level of stress that you think you're supposed to be studying for at all moments of the day. So by giving yourself a really light, life load, and you can really, de-stress yourself and take time off. I would study for a couple hours in the morning, and I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna play some games with friends, or I'm gonna go hang out with these people, I'm gonna do whatever. And then come back in the afternoon, study a little bit more, study a little bit more before bed. I played games with friends a lot. I went out and hung out with people often. Like, it was chill. Like, granted, I didn't do as well as I wanted to, and you can hear all about that in my MCAT study plan video of how I wish I studied for the MCAT. But, decrease your stress load. Work minimally if you can. Take a light course load again if you can. Right now I'm in a gap year, so I mean I couldn't have taken it any earlier. Mainly because I didn't, I switched to pre-med pretty late, took OChem, biochem. But if you want to take a gap year, go for it. Like I ended up in a gap year just by the way it all kind of worked out. So I'm on a gap year now, and it's super refreshing, really relaxing. And if that's the course you want to go, so that you can, take all your classes and then really focus on the MCAT, go for it. Like I think quality of life is super important, and so you should try to de-stress yourself in other situations and put yourself in a MCAT study position where you are not super stressed out. And I did that by minimizing coursework, minimizing my workload, and just, had a really loose regimen such that, if I was feeling lazy one day, I would just take a few hours off and go do something else. And I would just be like, I'm not really focusing. I'm just gonna chill for a little bit. So, I think that pretty much addresses what I was doing while studying for the MCAT, research work and school, just really light loads and a fluid MCAT schedule. Again, if you haven't seen my MCAT study plan, go check it out. I've been getting a lot of good responses on it, so some of you guys seem to be really be liking the phases I broke it into. Which again, had I done that plan, I think I would have just done a lot better. I scored a 507, which again is not a great score, but it's not like a terrible score. It got me into 3 schools so far. So it all worked out just fine. And looking back, it was a stressful time. It could have been less stressful, but it also could have been a lot more stressful. And I think some people make this whole MCAT studying, phase too stressful, which, focus quality of life. Always keep your quality of life first. But yeah, so that's kind of all I got for this video. If you have any other questions, let me know. But for now, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.